So today I'm meeting Nicholas Scalice. Nicholas is the founder of the landing page school. So how can I talk about the landing page to my mom? And I thought, hey, let's try to find a guy that's running the school about it. He has an amazing CV. Work in social media strategist, digital marketing strategist. So a lot of experience. And it's really a great chance to meet him today. Hi, Nicola. Thanks for being here.
Glad to be here.
Yeah. So you're calling us from Florida.
Oh, yeah.
The sunny state. I love it. So
it is.
Can
it's
you...
pretty nice normally.
Yeah. Except those crazy times.
Yeah.
So can you tell us more about you?
Yes, Holton. Well, great to be here. My name is Nicholas. I'm the founder of Landing Page School, and I've been working in various marketing roles for about 11 years now.
Wow.
Most recently, for about the last 5 years, I've been a marketing consultant working for myself, and I have a small agency called Earnworthy. And then a couple of years ago, I started Landing Page School because I noticed that a lot of folks were running a lot of Facebook ads and a lot of Google ads and trying to focus on traffic, but they were just sending all those people, all that traffic to their homepage, and they weren't really converting that traffic into leads and customers. So what good is it if you're spending all this money on ads if that traffic just visits your website and doesn't do anything? So I created Landing Page School as a way to help people learn about landing pages for free. And we also have some paid offerings like some courses and stuff. But yeah, it's been the response has been overwhelming. People are really excited to learn about landing pages and how to use them more effectively to help them convert their website visitors into leads and customers.
Yeah. So how would you define a web page? Is that when I go to a website and go something.com, or is that something more specific?
Yeah, so like a website is probably what everyone's familiar with, and when you think of a website, the first page you see is usually the home page, and a lot of people are directing people to their home pages. But if you really think about it, a home page is not meant to really get someone to take a specific action. And as a marketer, we want people to take a specific action, like buy a product, click a button, fill out a form, give their email address, start a phone call, whatever it may be. And so when you have all the different things that people can do on a website coming at them at once, it can be very confusing and very overwhelming for a visitor. So the whole idea of a landing page is to sort of, it strips away all of that unnecessary clutter and focuses in on one very specific action that you want someone to take. Maybe it's to buy a product or to download something and provide your email address in return. And so this method of really refining everything down to just one core action is really the essence of what we try to teach here at Landing Page School.
Okay. Yeah, so I could see a website as a shopping mall, and the landing page would be like the specific boutique or small store where you want to get your customers.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's very, very focused.
Yeah, so it's very focused, try to get people to do one thing. Okay. Okay, and how important is that actually? Does that really matter to invest time in doing that?
Yeah, it's becoming more and more important, especially as more advertisers start to advertise on their own. Because back in the day, remember, it was very difficult to advertise online. You had to really know what you're doing. But now there's all these algorithms that are running Facebook ads and Google ads. And I'm hearing stories all the time of companies that have no advertising experience going and throwing $500, even $5,000 on a Facebook campaign or a Google campaign. And where they're sending those people is sort of an afterthought. So I think it's really important if you are really trying to get some return on investment for that ad spend. And landing pages don't have to be used with ad campaigns, but I would say from the clients we've worked with, I'd say about 80% of landing pages are used with some type of paid advertising campaign. And so, yeah, if you're spending money online on ads, I think it's critical that you have an optimized web page that people go to so that they can have the best chance of taking action.
Okay. So if I would take, let's say, 3 takeaways to make a good landing page, what would you advise people to do? Besides,
Yeah.
of course, following the classes on landing page.
Yeah, no, no,
It's cool.
it's a great question. I'd say number one is start with a good offer. So what do I mean by that? Well, your offer is whatever you're giving away or whatever you're trying to sell. So, we're not just all doing this just to put information out there on the web. Usually, for any business owners listening to this or any marketers listening to this, your marketing campaign has a specific objective. You want to sell something, you want to generate a lead, which is like an email address that you could use to contact someone on an ongoing basis. So whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, make sure that the value that you're providing to people is really strong, because I see it happen all the time where people create these beautiful landing pages and they spend all this money on the design and getting the words just right, and then when you actually look at what they're giving away, it's like a 20-page white paper that nobody wants to read, or it's a product that has terrible reviews on Amazon. So always start with an offer or a product or a service or whatever it is you're providing. Always start with something that people actually want, that serves a purpose, and that you actually believe in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that's
So,
probably the number one tip
okay.
I'd share.
Okay. So I define my amazing offering, which makes sense. What is the next step?
Yeah, so the next step is to really position that offer in a way where it makes a lot of sense for the visitor. So this is where you want to do a lot of research. And another mistake I see happen all the time is people will just go out there and start building their landing page or building their website and just kind of coming up with it as they go, or
Mhm.
basing it on their own intuition or their own ideas. And really what you should try to do is use research and use data and use feedback from other people to influence the words, the images, the way you position things on the page. And it sounds more complicated than it is. So feedback could be as simple as showing your website or showing your landing page to 5 people. They could be
Yeah.
friends and family members, whatever, and just getting their take on it and saying, hey, if you saw this page, what is it offering? What is it, what is it about? And
Yeah.
you'll be so surprised when you do this. They actually call it a 5-second test. You show the page for 5 seconds, you stop showing it, and you just ask people, hey, what did you think that page was about? And you'll be amazed at how many crazy responses you'll get. And it'll really show you that you need to refine your messaging and clarify things, because clarity is one of the most important principles that you can bring to this whole design process, whether you're building a landing page or a website or whatever. You want it to be clear. You want people to understand what it is that you're trying to do.
Yeah. Now makes sense. And I think it's something that we sometimes miss, but I can recognize sometimes you create something and then you show it to people, and it's probably one of the most painful experience you have. I have that
Oh
sometimes
yeah.
with a deck you're working on, and then you
Yeah,
share
rip it
and you're
apart.
like, oh my God, it's my baby. It's beautiful.
Mhm.
And then people look at it and they say, what is this thing about? And then, yeah, it's
Yeah.
heartbreaking.
It's
Okay.
tough, but in the long run, it helps everyone involved. You
Yeah.
gotta be constructive. I mean, I give a lot of feedback on landing
Hmm.
pages, and I always try to do it in a very constructive way. Like, I don't like to call it a landing page tear down, because I feel like that's more destructive rather than constructive. So I try to be as positive as possible, because we're not trying to hurt anyone's feelings. We're trying to give them some information that they can really benefit from.
Yeah. I mean that's very valuable feedback. So how did you get to starting the landing page school?
Yeah, so I've been doing digital marketing in one form or another since 2009. When I was in college, I used to go door to door to local businesses and sell social media marketing services. And then, that evolved into working at a digital agency. And at the agency, I actually first learned about landing pages, and this was back like 2012, 2013. So it was still very, very young, what
Hmm.
people were doing with landing pages. And, from that, I ended up working on my own as a marketing consultant, and I started by doing everything. And then I realized the real need, at least the need that I could um, provide the greatest value, was to focus in on just one thing. And I think the takeaway there is, for any marketers out there who feel like they're doing too much, try to focus on just one thing, because if you're a generalist, that's great, but if you're trying to position yourself in a crowded market, then it usually helps if you can focus in on one thing. And for me, there's been a lot of opportunity just focusing on landing pages, because there's so many advertisers that just are overlooking that component of a marketing campaign.
Mm. So how do you develop yourself? I mean, the digital marketing space since 2009 has evolved a lot. So,
Oh yeah.
so how do you keep up? Where do you find inspiration?
So I'm a big fan of getting certifications and doing a lot of training. So I think another great takeaway is for anyone looking to sort of level up or learn, look for certifications you can get. And there's a lot of free ones online. Google Analytics has a certification from Google
Yeah,
that's free. I think it's called the Google Analytics Individual Qualification. And I'd say, no matter what you're doing in marketing, if it's digital marketing, you're probably going to have some interaction with Google Analytics. And so, that would be a good starting point. HubSpot, I'm sure everyone or many of you have heard of HubSpot. They have
yeah,
some really good training programs. So I'd say look for certification opportunities. That helps you elevate yourself above some other marketers that might not be doing those certifications. And read a lot. There's a lot of good blogs. Digitalmarketer.com is one of my favorites. Podcasting, I love listening to podcasts like yours, and
hmm
like there's so many good marketing podcasts out there. And then just creating content, whether you're
yeah,
creating your own podcast or your own blog. But I think one of the best ways to learn is to teach others. Even if you feel like you're not an expert, it's a great way to really dive into a subject by teaching it to someone else.
yeah, absolutely. And I think being forced to explain things yourself and structuring your thoughts is actually bringing to the next level, which is very tough, but
It
it's
is,
true.
especially like what you're trying to do with, explain it to my mom. That's
Yeah,
such a cool concept. When I first heard it, I was like, wow, that's, the coolest podcast idea I've heard of in a while, because it really gets you thinking.
yeah,
Because I'm so used to talking to other marketers or other people that sort of already know the lingo. But
yeah.
when you really try to simplify it, it's not easy at all.
Yeah, yeah. So for me, really, the division is my mom speaking to her sister, or a mom just at a dinner and saying, "Oh, my Nicholas is such a brilliant guy. He's doing." And so, getting back to the name of the podcast, Digital
Yeah.
Explained to My Mom. What would your mom say?
Yeah, so she thinks I work on the internet, I think is what I hear quite often. I work on the internet, or I work for the internet.
You
I've
are the
heard that.
internet.
Yeah, the internet, it's this place that I work for. So, I remember when I first started with landing pages, I would say, I build websites.
hmm
And even to this day, when I'm speaking with maybe a friend, an older friend of my mom's, or somebody in the community, I'll say, hey, we build websites. That's a good entry point, because I think most people at this point know what a website is. And then when they say, oh, tell me more, then I can explain, well, a landing page is sort of like a mini website that sort of stands on its own, and it has one specific purpose. But I think the thing I try to always do is to use a point of reference that people already know, like a website, um, and then sort of go into more detail from there, and answer questions, because questions are great. So that's probably the best way I would explain it to someone.
Yeah. So you do mini websites, baby
Mini
websites
websites for the internet.
for the internet. You're part of the internet community.
Exactly.
So what is I guess your work in a specific marketing within marketing, within a specific area within marketing. There's a lot of competition. So
Mhm.
what is challenging in your job, or what do you find hard?
Yeah, so I sort of juggle two different businesses. With Earnworthy, my consultancy, we do a lot of this work for clients. So that there's a lot of competition there, because there's a lot of companies that will do landing page services. There's a lot of freelancers that provide these services on sites like Upwork or Fiverr, and so a lot of times we have to try to compete on price, which is difficult because
hmm
we're not the cheapest. And then on the other side of my business with Landing Page School, we're trying to sell information products, so
hmm
courses, ebooks, that type of thing, consulting one-on-one. And so that's a whole different space, and that's a newer space for me because I come from the service world of marketing where I'm actually doing the work. So
Yeah.
it's been, I say, a real challenge trying to juggle both the service offerings and then also the product-based offerings. But my philosophy so far has been just give away as much information as possible. and sort of build up that following. So I have a podcast, I have a Facebook group that's free called Landing Page Rockstars. And people have told me, hey, you give away too much information. But the way I see it is, this is something people really need to learn. And I don't see a problem with just, giving away information. And if there's more that they want to learn, there's always those opportunities for them to take one of our courses, for instance. But yeah, I'd say, don't worry too much about hoarding all the information.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. And we'll share a link to your podcasts and the community. I think it's really worthwhile, and I'm a fan of podcasts, and probably that's why we
Yeah.
both have podcasts.
It's a lot easier to get started than you think.
Yeah, no, indeed. And the challenge is usually to keep moving and to keep the momentum going.
Consistency. Yeah, you have to be
consistency.
consistent and try to create a process. Like, I don't do the editing for my podcast anymore. If I did, I would have probably given up by now, because the editing takes a lot of work.
Yeah, it is. Same for me. So it's a challenge, but at the same time, it's really cool to do sometimes. Yeah. So let's say you meet someone who's just either starting their university or struggling with their studies. What would you recommend them based on your experience?
So if they're interested in working in digital marketing, I think there's a lot of opportunity, especially with everything going on right now with the move to remote work. There's a lot of remote work possibilities for marketers. But I would say, get certifications, get agency experience. I think one of the things that really helped me more than anything, the place where I learned about landing pages, was in a marketing agency. And so I feel like if you work in a marketing agency, even for a year, you're going to get 2 or 3 years worth of experience that you would normally get if you worked on a small business marketing team. Because within a marketing agency, you're able to see so many different things. You're able to talk to other experts, and you're working on, I was probably working on 20 different projects a day as a marketing campaign manager at an agency. So that sort of accelerates your learning very rapidly. So when you combine agency experience with certifications in your specific field, and then also trying to focus in on something that you really want to get great at, there's this concept called the T-shaped marketer, where they say you should try to have a good understanding of general, marketing best practices and digital marketing skills, but then you should pick one thing that you really want to focus on. Maybe it's email marketing, maybe it's landing pages, maybe it's social media marketing, content marketing, digital analytics. There's all these different specialties. And so I think that, your mindset should be to become a T-shaped marketer, where you have that good surface level understanding of everything, but then you have this one really deep specialty.
Yeah. That makes really sense. The T-shaped, so it's really like that, and then you
Exactly
all the specialty, and then okay. Yeah. So for the one just listening to the podcast, not watching the video, I just made a T with my body. It was probably one of the most ridiculous things I did in my life.
It made sense.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense. Thanks. You're a nice person. How can people get in touch with you and learn more about Landing Page School?
Yes, you could check out landingpageschool.com, which is a homepage, not necessarily a landing page. So, you won't find one call to action there. You'll find multiple calls to action. You could check out my podcast called Landing Page School Podcast. You can check out our Facebook group, which is free. We have over 2,200 marketers in there.
Wow.
It's called Landing Page Rockstars. And every Friday, actually, right after this, I'm going to be doing what's called Feedback Friday, where people post their landing page URL or a screenshot of it, and then we give feedback to each other in the group to help each other improve their pages. So that's free. You could join. And then if you want to sort of take it to the next level, we have a free course called Landing Page Jumpstart, which I just refreshed. It's just a very simple 3-part course where you learn basically everything you need to know to get started, broken up into 3 simple emails. You can check that out by going to landingpagejumpstart.com.
Okay. So I'll add all the links in the description and in the show notes and promote it to the listener. Nicholas, I'd like to thank you. Sorry, no. I'd like to thank you for taking the time today in your busy schedule. I wish you a fantastic day and a fantastic Landing Page Rockstars session in half an hour, or when is it?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, it's gonna be a rock star moment. So thank you so much, and I wish you a fantastic day.
Thank you, Sultan. This was a lot of fun. Take care.
Thank you. And